The San Antonio Spurs season is over. Time for a report card and see who played good, who played bad, and who played ugly.
Go Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stink.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Man, I haven't done one of these report cards in a long time. We're going to do one today. All grade subjective, by the way, but while I'm doing this report card, drop a comment down below. Who impressed you? Who depressed you? Who exceeded expectations? Who fell below expectations? Maybe some players you'd like to see back next year. Maybe some players you'd like to see gone. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the season and the players individually. Hit the thumbs up if you like support the channel and subscribe to become part of our awesome San Antonio Spurs community. Let's get into the report card. We'll stop top from bottom from who played the most games. Starting off with Tre Jones. Started as a backup, eventually became our starter. Should have been the starter the whole season. We'll get to that later. One thing that we focus on a lot is he's undersized. Can't change that, but his three-point shooting. I didn't realize this until I did the research. He shot 42% from threes after the All-Star break. He also has a 4-to-1 assist-turnover ratio. Great at getting Wemby the ball. I thought he was pretty darn good this year. Do I see him as a long-term starter? No, but he certainly was capable this year. I'm going to give Tre Jones a B. Up next, Malachi Branham. Inconsistent is one word that applies to Malachi and really a lot of our team. He's an absolutely horrible, atrocious defender. Sure, he got a little better at the end of the year, but overall, pretty darn bad. He did show us spots of being a three-level scorer, had a stretch of 4 or 5 games where he was averaging about 20 a game, and then he just fell off a cliff again. His three-point shot, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's absolutely awful. He was all over the place, but because of that really porous defense, I'm going to give Malachi a D+. Next year is year number 3 for him. He needs to start showing us something if he's going to be a Spur contributing to this franchise long term. After that, we have Jeremy Sochan. You don't mess with the Sochan. Oh my gosh, this season started as a disaster for Jeremy, doing the Jeremy Sochan point guard experiment. And then later on in the year, one game he would drop 30, then he'd drop 1, and then 2, and then 25. He was all over the place in regards to his offense and really struggled in the paint at times, not being able to finish at the rim. Not dunking-wise, but with his layups and short jumpers, they were just rolling off the rim, so maybe just some bad luck this year. His three-point shot fell off the cliff the last few months. That being said, he was a solid defender most of the time and usually was on the opposition's best player when they wasn't a center. So overall, it's not his fault he had to go through the point guard experiment. I'm going to give Jeremy a C, but I do think he's going to be much better next year. Julian Champagnie. Julian, in my opinion, still not a starter. And that's not his fault. That's the team putting him in the starting position. And he played okay most of the time. He did play much better at the end of the year, was generally pretty good on defense and really showed us an ability to finish at the rim the last few weeks. He was missing dunks left and right at the start of the season and was getting blocked by the rim at times. And now he's throwing down with righteous authority and anger on his Thunder dunks of justice. I think he's going to be a fantastic bench player. That being said, kind of mixed on this one. C+-ish. Up next, Cedi Osman. Finished the year injured. I don't really remember a lot about Cedi's season except for his crazy layups. He was okay, inconsistent, expiring contract. Not sure he'll be back next year. Right around a C for me. The man of the hour, so sweet but not sour, Victor Wembanyama, future Rookie of the Year, possible Defensive Player of the Year, and he showed us this year as a rookie. He is a beast on both ends of the court. He can literally take over the paint on either end. We saw a 3-on-1 fast break from the Memphis Grizzlies recently, and they stopped the break because Wemby was in the paint saying, just bring it. I just hit my camera. Oh boy. The only negative I can really say about Wemby is maybe too many three-pointers at time and the turnovers. The turnovers are certainly an issue, but not a great team around him. Maybe the ball was going through him a whole bunch. I'm going to give him an A. I think anything less than A is too low. He had a fantastic rookie season, and he's only going to get better. Keldon Johnson. Oof. Keldon, kind of an up-and-down year. Started as a starter for the team and eventually found his way to the bench and was actually benched from the bench for such porous defense. I expected so much more. He's the team leading scorer last season. I'd expect him to be the guy this year with Wemby being there, but I was really hoping he would be a solid number 2 option in the offense. He wasn't a number 2 or didn't even stay in the starting lineup. He was our guy off the bench, but I'm giving him a D. And it hurts me to say that because I think he's so much better than that, but this was a bit of a struggle this year for him, much like a lot of our guys, inconsistent. I like Keldon, and hopefully when the team got better at the end of the year, he will the whole team will take that momentum into next year. All right, Zach Collins. Oh, boy. I was excited about him being a starter because of the way he finished last season, found himself as a starter, and wound up getting himself to the bench. He's not a great defender, not a great rebounder, rim protector. There was one stretch in the season where I think he missed 23s in a row or something crazy. Sure, he had the ankle injury to deal with. He is an offensive plus when he's on. He can be a true true stretch 5. Overall, though, I expected more. I'm going to give him a C minus. Sorry, Zach. Devin Vassell fortunately finished the season out with an injury for the second year of the row, but that being said, he was our second best scorer, and when he's on, he is lethal. We saw Devin go off in one game where he scored, 23 points in a quarter and didn't miss a shot. He was like 9 of 9. I think he can be a Robin to Batman, or at the very least, a third option in this offense. Started to show a good rapport with Wemby at the end of the season. Sure, his defense was up and down, a bit inconsistent, but overall, I thought this was a good year for Devin. I'll give him a B+, fringe A-. I like what I saw from him. Overall, he's a pretty consistent scorer. Up next, Blake Wesley. When I think Blake Wesley, I think F-A-S-T, fast. He did play solid defense at times, and he showed a great ability to finish at the rim this year. I think we saw him dunk a couple times last year, but he was really, the fast break where it's an open floor and Blake's in transition. Good luck catching him. One end to the other, dunk, game over. That being said, horrible three-point shooter. Absolutely terrible. Shot about, I can't actually see it because my head's covering up. I'll move these stats down just a little bit so we can get Blake up top here. And not a good three-point shooter, 22%, which is not going to get it done in today's NBA. Not a good free throw shooter either at 67%. Didn't turn the ball over much when he was out there. I think it was an okay season, but he's really going to have to work on his shooting if he's going to be a successful NBA player. So I'm going to give him a C as well. And then we're going to get to the players that really didn't play much, that played less than half the season. Sorry if I'm talking fast, but if I talk slow, this will be a 20-minute video, and I got to get her done. So, Doug McDermott. These players won't get graded, by the way, because we just didn't have enough data, in my opinion. Dougie, he was traded, but he was our best three-point shooter when he was traded. So, there's that. Sandro Mamakhelishvili barely played all year. But then in April, he averaged 11 points per game and 10 rebounds. So he's actually pretty strong in limited action this year. If we can bring him back, I think we should. Dominic Barlow showed a lot of improvement over last year from this year. Showed his ability to hit some jumpers, better decision-making with his IQ. I think he'd probably come back and could be a good role player off the bench. Devontae Graham, oh boy, he was pretty much all garbage time at the end of the year and didn't really do much. He's on a partially guaranteed contract for next year. Don't think he's coming back, but he did hit the game winner against the Nuggets, so he's going out on a high note at least. Charles Bassey, the Bassinator, he's playing well at the start of the season, tore his ACL. I'm really worried about the big man having a very short career in the NBA due to he's had a plethora of injuries to his knees already in his short career, so I'm really worried about that. This one I'm excited about, though. Sidy Cissoko. Barely played at all this year, and at the start of the year, and a little bit he played throughout the year, just really showed a hesitation to score, and I kept thinking to myself, this kid's got size, he's got talent, but man, he's so shy to shoot or score that I don't know if this guy's going to work. Well, the last 4 games, he was great, averaging almost 10 points per game, and he was finishing at the rim left and right. I see some Spurs fans now just a little bit saying, could this be Keldon Johnson's replacement if they decide to move on from Keldon? Watch out for Sidy Cissoko. He's looking good. As far as the other guys, David Duke Jr. barely played. The Bouye, he barely played. Mohamed Diakate, I forgot he was on the team. Raekwon Gray had one game where he hit like a couple three-pointers, so he looked decent. He's a huge dude. He's like, 6'7", 270? But that's it for the team. That being said, there was one more person we got to grade. Greg Popovich, and this is a tough one. The team was 22-60. A team record 18-game losing streak. It was his decision to have the Jeremy Sohan point guard experiment going. However, we were 7-4 in the last 11 games and beat some darn good teams. They beat the Nuggets without Sohan, without Vassell, without Keldon, without a ton of players, and beat a team that needed a win that night, where we needed nothing. You could also argue that the team should not have been playing as well, and we moved from the 3rd worst team in the NBA draft position-wise, and now we're the 5th worst team. I like the fact the team was coming together and showing chemistry, though. I'm always on the Spurs don't tank wagon, if you will. It's kind of tough to grade Pop because this season was such a mess at points at the start, and after we beat the Suns 2 games in a row, it just fell off a cliff after there. We're getting blown out left and right. There was an 18-game losing streak, but then we show so much promise at the end of the year. I feel like Pops, for me, C+. It's tough. It's the Malachi Brandon point guard experiment too. Sometimes giving players more minutes that maybe didn't deserve them. We saw a lot of the young guys. I mean, the reason that we played so well is other guys were stepping up. I mean, would we have been better if Mamu perhaps had gotten more minutes throughout the year? Would we have been a better team if Trey Jones started day one? I don't know. It's tough to grade him, but I think we're taking steps in the right direction. And with the team coming together at the end of the season, I do think we'll be at least a play-in team next year. Now, of course, what happens in the offseason is going to help dictate, is going to dictate which direction we go. Do we trade for a player? Do we trade for Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Donovan Mitchell? I don't know. Who do we get in the draft? I don't know. But it's a great time to be a Spurs fan. I appreciate you. We made it to the end of the video. It's almost 11 minutes here, so I want to wrap it up. And this was fun to do a little report card on the team. In the end, no matter whether I gave a player a good grade, a bad grade, whatever, or something in between, I'm rooting for every one of these guys every time I see them on the court and hope they all always exceed expectations. I thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, and as always, go Spurs, go.
Ready,